Well, thank you everyone for the very inspiring words. It's truly heartwarming, from the connection to the local all the way to the international. And it brings us actually really well to the first question. So what we're doing is, I'm seeing questions here that will come in virtually, and then maybe we'll have time for the audience as well. And really the obvious question is, in many ways, why are we focusing on Ukraine when there are so many challenges at home that we mentioned as well? I will just mention for myself, it's very much about protecting people. Through my work with Ukraine, I've grown to get to know and love people in Ukraine and the UK, and the resiliency and the amazing heartwarming innovation of those in Ukraine. And it's the connection between the US, UK, and Ukrainian people, and really globally, that's uniting us against foreign threats. And with that comes innovation and technology. So that's why we formed our sister city program and state oblast regional partnerships, which it's amazing to see happen here with Chermihiv, Kent, and looks like the state of Virginia and partners within it, right? Because within that, there are various things that are happening. And some of it is groundbreaking and leading the world, right? The work that Ukraine is doing on energy security and distributed solar is literally leading the world in a combat zone, right? If Ukraine can do it, anyone can. Pairing the cities with an AI model that looks at the policies within that city and models it, and then sees the economic output that can be improved by putting that policy in, particularly in distributed clean energy and creating more equality, that's part of the program here. And that's groundbreaking, bringing it between the three cities, right? They're in the audience too. So we're bringing these technologies here together to protect people regardless of the boundary or the border, because it's the people we love and care about that matter, that unite us, and really the mission that brings protecting the values of democracy forward. So I'd love to put the question to the group if someone would like to jump in. So why are we focusing on Ukraine when there are so many challenges at home? Please come to the mic.
It's a very important question, and it really is worth some thought. What we have in our democracies is an unprecedented challenge today. If you see this terrible war taking place, who is supporting the aggression? It is countries like Iran, North Korea, and of course, China, amongst others. These are not countries which are democratic in any sense of the word, and indeed offer, in many instances, open hostility to all democracies. And frankly, unless democracies understand this, unless they fight for the values that are part of our way of life in the West, then unfortunately, all sorts of problems will arise. And it's not only the stability of the countries involved in our democracies, but also our own security, because there are those who wish to impose a way of life which is absolutely unacceptable to the people who live in democracies in Europe, and most especially the, in a sense, the most admired democracy in the world, because it's come to the rescue of totalitarianism on a number of occasions, the United States, for which I say, God bless America.
For me as Ukrainian, the answer is very simple. If Ukraine is not protected, if Ukraine falls, all your democracy will fall. Just because if the crime is not punished, tomorrow it can be somebody else, and it will be somebody else. And it will be other countries, and more people will suffer. So it's not about Ukraine, it's about our common values.
It is a really important question that, as a locally elected representative, I get asked often. And my response to that question is always the same. Ukraine's struggle is our struggle. And the reason why is because what we can do at a hyper-local level is actually improve our communities and change the way that we work on a local level and benefit Ukraine at the same time. And I'll give you one small example of that, and it is hyper-local, that during the COVID-19 pandemic, when we were all forced into lockdown, we had profound loneliness, particularly within our elderly communities after the lockdowns were lifted. But what we've been able to do through our humanitarian efforts for Ukraine is bring elderly communities together, where they now sit and meet almost on a nightly basis, knitting hats for the children in orphanages in Chermihiv. It's one small project that is making a fundamental difference on the ground in Ukraine, but it's also tackling a problem, social isolation, which is something that our experts have been trying to tackle for the last few years without success. So when people say, what are the problems, why are we doing this for Ukraine? I think we need to turn the question around, going back to how can we improve our communities through our support for Ukraine?
I'm going to take this opportunity to address the question with my ministry hat on. I believe that religions around the world, and even for those people who do not believe in a higher power, the help, the aid, and the focus on Ukraine is all about the great commandment. We must take care of the least of these. And as a veteran who served my country to protect democracy, any tyrant in the world, make no mistake about it, you will not win, because we will always be on the front lines fighting for freedom. Thank you.
Thank you. As an Arizona state representative, I think it is important for us to care about what happens in Ukraine all across the world. And I think about that because when I was in Afghanistan, it was our NATO allies that stood with me and housed me at their base in northern Afghanistan. I worked with the Swedes and the Finns. If we don't stand up to protect Ukraine, the rest of Europe is next. And I think energy security is so connected to protecting the free world, so that we're not reliant on Russian energy or Iranian energy or any foreign adversaries' energies. But as we're looking to promote democracies around the world, it's so important that we have clean, renewable energy in a distributed way to make the world more safe. And that's why we care about it in Arizona, and that's why I care about it as a veteran of the war in Afghanistan. Thank you.
Thanks. I don't say like Ukrainian military. I want to underline that Ukraine is a huge example of Western world assistance, and now some Russia, under support of China, Iran, and North Korea, try to destroy this example and destroy every democratic values. That's why I think that's a very good aim to remind everyone in democratic world for one faithful aim, and show for the world how evil is democratic world and how powerful and who can show the future for everyone else. Thank you so much.
I'd like to mention a couple of things. One is in my constituency of the South Cotswolds, we have a significant influx of Ukrainians, most notably in Malmesbury, where we have a wonderful organisation called Malmesbury Stands with Ukraine. And they regularly, or we regularly celebrate Ukrainian traditional days and festivals. And I'm very grateful to have the Ukrainian community there that has enriched the cultural life of Malmesbury so much, albeit under such sad circumstances. Secondly, I want to mention that we're seeing this dynamic playing out in so many different ways of domination over, whether that is a perceived powerful country over a less powerful country, whether it is the rich over the poor, whether it's humans over nature. And we need to shift from that dominator paradigm to one of partnership, where we see that we can only have a sustainable and peaceful future when we respect the rights of others and recognize that even those perceived as less strong have so much to contribute. This is the only way that we can really create a better future for the generations to come, is to move into this partnership and away from the bully boy dynamics of domination.
In hypothetical case, if Ukraine support will stop tomorrow, it means like all our efforts, your efforts to support this system, it will be useless, and it will be another site for dictators like Putin. That's it. Just democracy, freedom, people lives doesn't matter, and maybe we don't want to live in this other type of world.
Very eloquently and impactfully stated that we need to be able to protect Ukraine to protect ourselves and protect our planet. We are out of time for further questions, but if you do have them, please send us a note or email, and we'd be happy to connect you directly with any of the panelists here to answer a question or do it ourselves. And just rounding it out, it is truly inspiring to see the policies and the work and the passion and the dedication from the UK to Ukraine to the United States that is happening here at the local to international level to really protect our way of life, our way of being, right? And the values of democracy that is unbelievably important to be able to create innovation and solutions moving forward. And that's why the Energy Security Marshall Plan that EOPA and EOPE is putting forward includes the policies at the subnational level to national level and the local connections between the cities and the counties, the states and oblasts to be able to create the partnerships necessary to make both our countries, on all three countries here, prosperous and secure moving forward. So thank you, everyone.